was young once, gods, who weren't we all? Chasing coin and cars and stars. We were seven blades at fate's beck and call, cutting truth from scars. Not bound by law nor noble creed, but need raw, reckless need to right, to wrong, to live, to bleed, to ride where legends lead. Fred, you're fierce with eyes like storms, not man, not made, but flame. They walk the line between chaos and form. No shackles and no blame, no shadow cloaked in silence black. With Levi soft as wind, Gilead keen of mind until it cracked, but with fire deep within. Gerald laughed with sword in hand, no truer friend you'd find. Eleanor stood with honor grand, too noble for this time. Bori broke the world in half with fists that shook the land. And I sang, I stitched their paths, I held their threads in hand. We fought the fireborn bones of Keitra and buried drone guards' cries. We cut down greed in Grellwood's shade, though the Bureau sold its lies. In Monald's mind we found the dark and brought lost souls to peace. At Blackstone Keep our blades made mark, we turned no blade to peace. And we took dark coin in Elfa from a name best left unspoken. I still taste the ball from that bitter war. Some debts remain unbroken. We faced the knolls of Shara's past. We bled neath dragon skies. We drank from cups of silver glass and whispered lovers' lies. But time, it burns what hands can't hold. We cracked, we laughed, we bled. We grew too loud, we grew too bold, and one of us fell dead. moss and wood, where frost wove through the eaves, Freya smiled the way gods should. With fire beneath the leaves, they hummed to seeds and tangled roots, and I learned how to still the world outside could have its boots. I had my love, my hill. The song, the slow and wild, peace I let settle in. But peace is cruel and never stays when the mountain starts to wake. One night the fire bent the haze, the stars began to shake, and there he stood just dusk alone, no beast beside his stride. His cloak was torn, his voice like stone, and something in him died. The rent was groaning was all he said, the veins are pulsing red. If we don't bind what stirs ahead, the world will burn instead. Freya stared, then packed their thread. No tears, no flinch, no prayer. I kissed their hand, we left our bed and vanished through the air. We crossed the sands of Voltavor, where he could crack the bone, through markets loud with fire and war, where none still walked alone. The air was brine and glass and sweat, the sea a copper flame, and there we found her Boread, still wild and just the same. Her tavern rang with clash and cheer, with fists and mugs in flight. She wiped her brow and said, "You're here, took you bastards long enough, right?" She poured no drink, she cracked no jest, just stared at dust-worn face. Then Freya stepped, and in her chest a memory took place. She sighed, "If the world's to end in fire, then I'll light it first," she swore. She fetched her axe, left coin and lyre, and walked back through the door. Stone, where towers sparked and scholars learn what ruins leave unknown. Their Gilead had buried deep in soil of rust and steel, constructs vast that did not sleep, yet hummed as though they feel. He knelt beside a broken frame of gears like mirrored flame. Ox stone, he muttered power's breath, the past is not yet tame. He looked at us with between two fires, to chase the mountain's secret now. That's not what one retires. But Freya spoke with steady grace, "Then walk with us a while. The stars don't burn in just one place, and learning wears a smile." He paused, then smirked, "I'll bring my boots, can't let you get ahead." He packed his scrolls, his chalk, his roots, and followed where we led. Still in the city's crowded rings, past market, shrine, and wall, we found the pair who once wore kings, now kneeling to the she sheathed her chain and left her students fast. Upon the life inside, dust shadow bowed without a word, then vanished through the trees. He'd gone to keep a promise heard, to tend to love's unease. His partner, heavy now with child, had long awaited news. He stood beside her, heart unstamped, then chose which path to choose. He found us gazing miles ahead and knelt beside the flame. I have a son, was all he said, then paused and spoke her name. I will return when fire calls. He'll know I chose to stay, and should I fall through mountain halls, tell him I lit the way. And there was Hector, old and kind, still limping through the pain. Each healing touch left curse behind. His wounds would bloom again, but Renvor's priest, a gentle soul, found truth that others missed. He laid his hands with quiet gold and broke the binding twist. Hector stood strong for the first time. He laughed, he danced, he ran. He kissed his wife while bells would chime, and grinned like a young man. But fate, unfair in tender hands, still cuts with quiet steel. That night he died with no commands, just silent, sharp, and real. Yun is stirred within her fog, still drifting through the mire. She asked us why the hearth grew cold, then watched the dwindling fire. She could not weep nor grasp the day, yet hummed his old refrain, a song he used to sing in May, now sung through loss and rain. The priest bowed low and gave his vow to tend and watch her mind. We left them with our child somehow, the spark we could not bind. Phrygia wept, then kissed their brow, and whispered something low. I did not ask the words or how, I only let them go. The road still waited black with ash, and every step was pain, but we had carved a thread to pass, a soul, a child, a name. No gods would catch us should we fall, no light would line our path, but still we marched one and all to brave the mountain's wrath. The cold was not a season there. It lived, it screamed, it fed, it clawed our breath, it stripped us bare and froze the tears we shed. The snow rose high past hip and chest, each flake a needle's bite. The wind cut deep through coat and turned black at tips and toes and ear, yet no one asked to turn us back. The gate was drawing near. Then down below through sulfur air, the valley cracked and screamed, a pit of fire, a fortress square. The end of what we dreamed. Flame hold stood with molten breath, its banner scorched and proud. We watched it pause the womb of death, and none of us spoke loud. We entered not with trumpet brass, nor honor at our side, but cloaked in smoke through broken paths, where only ghosts still ride. The earth was heat, the breath was cold, the rivers boiled black, each step a toll upon the soul. Each glance dared us turn back, then flame ignited rhythm's thread. The march became a sprint, the sky above turned burning red. The city gave its hint. Drums, shouts, alarms, steel clank. We raced through streets in spiral flight, through alleys choked in ash. The guards poured in from left and right, steel boots relentless crash. Gerald turned with blade held high, a wall in mortal form. Go, he cried, this part is mine, and faced the coming storm. Upon the rise like gods betrayed, the general thundered down, a beast of fire and grief arrayed, with cold blind jagged crown. He rode a steed of cracking flame, each hoof a burning bell. His land screamed out his noble name, a dirge we dared not quell. He struck and Gerald caught the blow, a parry made too late. He smiled once, then let it go, and crumbled under fate. His eyes met mine, he bled no lie. He fell but left no fear, and in that death beneath the sky, the way ahead grew clear. Freddy roared, no words, no chant, just fury unconfined. Their hands rose up. Freddy roared, no words, no chant, just fury unconfined. Their hands rose up and flame did grant, a shield of wrath designed. The walls ignited red and gold, a bastion molten white. The cavalry who dared grow bold turned back and burned and died. A dome of flame, a raging gate, a moment bought with soul. We ran with breath and battered fate toward that final. The gates of flame hold open wide, a mouth of myth and stone. We left the light, the lost the tide, and walked into unknown. The gate stood locked by ancient tongue, with glyphs none dare translate, while Freya carved with trembling lung, and dusk held fast our fate. cage without a name. Her limbs froze still, her breath grew tight. Her fingers could not close, she stood like stone mid-morning light. Defiant in her pose, they came with blades and blood-red cries, and cut her down in flame. Her eyes still burned, though stilled in death, a warrior robbed of name. Though shadow grew, their form unleashed, a beast of smoke and fang. They tore through shields, they trampled priests. Their body cracked and sprang. Each wound they bore, they gave back 10. A tempest clothed in shade, but still they bled and bled again. Too many debts were paid. Eleanor stood, her blade unshorn, her armor scorched and torn. Gerald's name upon her lips, her grief no longer worn. She cried into the distant skies, and flame answered her call. A dragon red with embered eyes descended over all. Too late to save her love from death, too late to shift the tide, but not too late to scorch the breath of those who still defied. She held the general in her arms, her chain wrapped round his frame. She smiled once, then bared her arms and whispered Gerald's name. The dragon loosed a firestorm then, a howl that split the field, still screamed and ash replaced the man. But Eleanor did not yield. When silence came, the field was red. The general turned to slag. Eleanor's armor scorched and shed lay buried in the flag. Dove's shadow bled from wounds too wide, but still he did not fall. His cloak was torn, his ribs split side, his breath a withered coal. He leaned upon the shattered stone, where runes still burned and hissed, then straightened with a crunch of bone, and gave what fate had missed. He climbed the steps with breath drawn thin, each movement burned and slow. He faced the pit, the flame within, and nodded once below. The circle flared, the runes turned red. The fire kissed his brow, then swallowed him with all he bled. The gate unsealed somehow. Heliod knelt, his mind unstitched, mouth moving without sound. He stared at glyphs now cast and ditched, then curled upon the ground. His hands began to twitch and spasm, his voice a broken string. He sobbed, he choked, he cried at last, I cannot do this thing. He fumbled for a trinket small, a charm they'd forged in peace. He cracked